Hello and welcome to Yoga for Athletes. My name is Adriana Lee with NeoraFit, and today I'll be taking you through a quick yoga flow to help you gain mobility so that you'll have better athletic performance. For today's practice, the only prop that you might want is a blanket to pad your knees with, or just anything to pad your knees with if your knees tend to get sensitive, and especially if you're on hard flooring. But other than that, no props are required, so put on some music, grab some water, and we'll get started right away. We'll begin today's practice in a comfortable cross-legged seat for a quick breathing practice before we get into our flow. If cross-legged is not comfortable for you, feel free to sit kneeling instead, or if your hips are tight in a cross-legged position, sit a little bit elevated on top of something like a yoga block, meditation cushion, or a folded up blanket. Then rest your palms either facing down on your knees for grounding or up, symbolic of receiving, and close your eyes. Take a deep breath into your chest. And as you exhale, relax your shoulders down away from your ears. Breathe in through your nose, this time breathing down into your belly. And as you exhale, also through the nose, draw your navel in towards your spine. Inhale and sit up a little bit taller. Exhale through your nose and relax your hips. And then place your hands together at heart center and take a moment to set an intention for your practice. Ask yourself what you hope to gain or learn or release today. And once you have that clear intention in mind, take a deep breath in, reach your arms out and up. And exhale, lower your hands back down to heart center. Release your hands down on the mat in front of you, making your way into a tabletop position. So your hands are stacked beneath your shoulders and your knees are right under your hips. Cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly towards the mat, reach your chest forward and gaze up. Exhale, round out your spine, draw your navel to spine, tuck your chin. 2 more. Inhale, drop your belly, heart forward. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and down your back to broaden your chest. Exhale, round out your spine. And one last round. Inhale, drop your belly, chest forward, look up. Exhale, round your spine. Inhale, come back to a neutral tabletop. Then slide your right leg back into a calf stretch. Keep your toes on the mat and press back into your heel. Option to stay here or find a little bit of a pulse. Then from here, we'll come into bird dog. So send your shoulders back over your wrists. Reach your left arm forward like you're going to shake someone's hand with your palm facing in. Then lift your arm and your leg just to the height of your spine. Take a deep breath in to prepare. And exhale, squeeze in elbow to knee, rounding your spine. 2 more like that. Inhale, reach forward, kick back. And exhale, round and curl. 1 more time. Inhale, reach forward, kick back. Exhale, elbow to knee. Now on your inhale, reach everything out one last time. Now from here, you'll bend your right knee and reach your left hand towards your toes. Then inhale, reach everything back out. 2 more like that. Exhale, bend and reach. Inhale, reach back out. Last one, exhale, bend and reach. Inhale, reach back out. Then release your left hand down, right knee down. Calf stretch on the other side. Slide your left leg back, toes on the ground, and push back into your heel. Again, option to find a little bit of a pulse if that would feel good. And then bird dog. Walk your right hand forward with the palm facing in and lift your arm and leg to the height of your spine. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, squeeze in, elbow to knee. 2 more. Inhale, reach forward, kick back. Exhale, squeeze in, elbow to knee. And 1 more. Inhale, reach forward, kick back. Exhale, squeeze in, elbow to knee. Now reach everything out one last time and we'll find those toe taps. So bend the left knee, reach your right hand towards your toes. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tap. 1 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tap. Inhale, reach everything back out. Lower your hand, lower your knee. We're going to go into down dog with an Achilles tendon stretch. So watch first if you'd like. You'll make your way to down dog by finding plank and then lifting your hips up and back. Your knees can be really bent for this. To add on the Achilles stretch, you'll pick up your right foot just a little bit off the ground and frame your left Achilles tendon with the big toe and second toe. Then use the ball of your foot to press your heel down into the ground. All right, so if you're not already there, find down dog. Make your way to plank first, then hips up and back. Create that upside down V shape. Option to bend your knees a lot, and no worries if your heels are really lifted. And take a moment here, stay strong through your hands and shoulders, and engage through your core. And then to go into that Achilles stretch, pick up your right foot and frame the left Achilles tendon with the big toe and second toe. Then use the ball of your right foot to press your heel down. It should feel like a stretch through your calf and into that Achilles tendon. Now switch sides. Lower your right foot down, pick up your left foot and frame the Achilles tendon with the big toe and second toe. Use the ball of your foot to press your heel into the ground. And just another breath here. Then release your left foot back down. Take a big step forward with your right foot, stepping your foot as close to your right between your hands as you can. Then release your left knee down. If your foot didn't go all the way, then slide your foot forward. Uncurl your back toes. Send your hips forward until you feel a stretch through your left hip flexor and lift up your chest. Now from here, press your hips back, straighten your right leg, and make your way into a half split. So your right leg is mostly straight. It can be a little bit bent though. Do your best to keep your spine long. Inhale, hips forward, lift your chest. And exhale, hips back, straighten or partially straighten your leg. We'll do that one more time. If this is a little bit challenging, always an option to keep your hands on top of your knee. It'll be harder for balance, but a little bit easier, or less intense rather, for your half split. Now after that last one, rebend your right knee, step back to plank, and lower all the way down onto your belly. You can go knees down first or not. Cobra. Walk your hands forward of your shoulders, making a little goalpost shape with your arms. Inhale, use your hands to grip the mat and pull your ribs forward and up like you're pulling yourself out of a pool. Then exhale, pull your ribs forward and down. At the same time, send your tailbone down, so it's like you're tractioning out your spine. Now hands under your shoulders, push back up onto your knees, down dog. Curl your toes under, lift your hips high. And big step forward with your left foot. Lower your right knee down into your low lunge. Inhale, send your hips forward, lift your chest. And exhale, straighten your leg, hips come back over your back knee. Inhale, hips forward, lift your chest. Exhale, hips back for the hamstring stretch. One more round here. Inhale, hips forward. And exhale, hips back. Then rebend your knee, step to plank, and this time we'll go a little bit deeper. So set your knees down, uncurl your toes, bend your elbows to lower only halfway down, modified chaturanga. Now push into the tops of your feet, lift your thighs off the mat, and straighten your arms into up dog. Down dog. Lift your hips up and back, and flip your feet. A big step forward with your right foot. Lower your left knee down, coming back into that first lunge. Now, for this lunge version, we're going to focus on sending your weight forward and keeping your right heel down so that you start to feel a stretch through the Achilles and kind of through the back, the bottom rather, part of the calf muscle, the soleus. So inhale, drop your hips forward, and then exhale, just kind of come about halfway out of it. Inhale, hips forward, and exhale, come out of it a bit. This last one we're going to hold. So if you've had a knee injury in the past, what I'll have you do instead is just keep your knee over your ankle and lift up so that you're in a left hip flexor stretch. Otherwise, keep sending the weight forward. Now, if your left hip flexor is very tight, it might be difficult to send enough weight into the right heel to actually feel a stretch through the Achilles. So if that's the case for you, again, just focus on that left hip flexor stretch instead. And one more breath here. Now come out, step to plank, and then lower all the way down to your belly. Once you're on your belly, slide your elbows forward into Sphinx pose. So your elbows stack right underneath your shoulders and your forearms are down on the mat. If your low back is sensitive here, lower back down, lift up one leg at a time, and internally rotate it. That way you create a little bit of space through the sacrum. To internally rotate, you're just rotating towards the midline. And then lift back up onto your elbows. Take your left arm to a diagonal, bend your right knee, and reach your right hand towards the right foot. Pull your heel towards your glute, and now at the same time, press your hip points down into the ground. Now, a little bit like Cobra, keep using your left arm to pull your chest forward. That's going to help you avoid any crunchiness in the lower back. Release and switch sides. Right elbow down, right arm to a diagonal. Bend your left knee, left hand, left foot, and then pull your heel towards your glute. Same thing, right arm pulls the chest forward to create space in the low back. And release. Lower your hands back under your shoulders and come back into down dog. Now big step forward with your left foot. Release your right knee down, and we'll find that same Achilles and soleus stretch here. So as you inhale, let your knee come forward, send your weight down into the left heel. And as you exhale, just pulse out of it a bit. Inhale, hips forward, press through the left heel. And exhale, come out of it a bit. One last time, this one we're gonna hold. So send your weight forward to hold. And again, if it's too intense on the right hip flexor, or if you've had a knee injury in the left knee, go ahead and back out of it a bit and focus on lifting your chest instead. Last breath here. Now from here, hands down, step to plank, and lower all the way down onto your belly. This time we're finding bound locust. So clasp your hands together behind your back and start to lift your shoulders away from the ground, lift your fists away from your glutes. Now lift up your legs. Keep your neck long, so you're looking down a little bit instead of looking up and crunching the back of the neck. Inhale into your chest, and exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Then release, come all the way down, hands under shoulders, and press back into down dog. This time, step your right foot outside of your right hand into a lizard lunge. Then release your left knee down, uncurl the back toes. So from here, rotate your right toes out to the right a little bit, so your foot's kind of out to the side. And this time on your exhale, we'll come into an externally rotated half split. So push your hips back, straighten or partially straighten your right leg, and do your best to keep your toes pointed to the side. Then inhale, hips forward. Exhale, hips back, straighten your leg. Good, one more like that. Inhale, hips forward. Exhale, hips back. Now this time, take your toes from this externally rotated shape and rotate them in towards the left. So you might be feeling some intensity through the side of your calf or into the foot. That's totally fine. We're trying to hit the IT band here. So you may need to walk your hands over to the right a little bit, or even use your left hand to press your toes down. Now, no worries if this is intense and you can't straighten your leg. That's totally okay. Just breathe wherever you're at. All right, release, step to plank, and then lower to your belly. All right, coming back into that Sphinx shape, so elbows back under your shoulders. This time, bend your right knee, reach back and grab the outside of your right foot, so your palm is facing in. Now, kick your foot into your hand to lift your chest. Press down through your right thigh, getting into a little bit of a shoulder opener for the right side, and then release. Elbow down, right arm across, bend your left knee, and reach your left hand for your foot. Kick your foot into your hand to lift your chest. And same thing here, keep pushing down through the left thigh to open up the shoulder and to keep space in your low back. Release and come to down dog. Lower your chest down, push through your palms to come to tabletop, then curl your toes under and lift your hips up and back. Take a big step forward with your left foot, stepping the foot outside of your hand for lizard lunge, and release your right knee down. Uncurl your back toes, then rotate your left toes out to the side. On your exhale, press your hips back And straighten or partially straighten your left leg. And inhale, bend your knee, let your hips drop, lift your chest a little. 2 more. Exhale, hips back, straighten your leg. Inhale, hips forward, drop your hips, lift your chest. Last one here, exhale, hips back. Now this time we'll hold. So from this externally rotated shape, point your toes to the right into internal rotation. If that's already enough, stay right there. If you need a little bit more, walk your hands towards the left and maybe even use your right hand to push your left toes down. All right, release, rebend your front knee, lower your hands to the ground, step to plank, and then lower all the way down to your belly. So if half bow was challenging enough, go ahead and repeat that. Otherwise, bend both knees, grab the outsides of your ankles, flex your feet, and kick your feet into your hands to lift into full bow. Press your hip points down into the ground and continue kicking and kicking until you feel your chest lift up. One more breath here. And then release. Lower your hands back down under your shoulders and press yourself up onto your knees this time for camel. So your knees should be about hip width distance apart. Then place your hands on either side of your sacrum or the bony plate at the low back. If you have any wrist sensitivity, instead of having palms facing down or palms facing up, make 2 fists on either side of your sacrum. Then inhale, lift up your chest. And exhale, press your hip points forward. Send your tailbone down so that there's no crunchiness in your lower back. And then lift your rib cage up away from the low back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together to open your chest a little bit more. One more deep breath. Inhale, rise up out of that back bend. And then sit your hips down onto your heels just for a moment. Can drop your chin down and take a deep breath. Now we'll return to tabletop to come into pigeon. So find a tabletop position and slide your left shin forward behind your wrists. Then ease your right leg back until you feel you're in a good spot. So a good spot is hopefully both hip points facing forward so your hips are neutral. Now, if you've had a knee injury or a sciatica injury on the left side, what you'll do instead is sit your left sit bone all the way down and make a 90-degree angle with your left leg. Then you'll come down into the fold. So if you don't have those injuries, keep your hips squared and then make your way down onto forearms. You could even rest your head all the way down on the mat so that your neck can fully relax. And find a couple deep breaths here. Look back and make sure that your right toes are pointing straight back and your heel is up towards the ceiling rather than having the ankle sickled. And one last breath here. And when you're ready to come out, walk your hands back under your shoulders, lift up your chest, and now sit fully down onto your left hip if you're not already there, and straighten both legs so you rotate to face the side of the mat. You can widen your legs out as much as you need to. Inhale, lift up your chest, and exhale, start to hinge forward, keeping a long spine. So if you only can lean like 2 inches forward while keeping a long spine, that's perfect, stay there. Otherwise, maybe you walk your hands a bit forward. Watch your toes. One tendency is for the toes to fall in towards the midline. Instead, keep your toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Flex or pointed, doesn't really matter. Inhale, pull your heart forward. Exhale, maybe fold 1 more inch. And then rise up out of that and switch to pigeon on the other side. So now bend your knees, sit down onto your right hip to start. If you have a knee injury or sciatica injury on this side, go ahead and stay here and fold forward from this shape. Otherwise, you can slide your ankle in a bit and rotate until your hip points are both facing forward and your pelvis is neutral. Inhale, lift up your chest. And exhale, make your way down towards forearms. Again, check out your left toes. Make sure they're pointing straight back and your heel is up towards the ceiling. Relax your neck and your shoulders and stay here for 1 more deep breath. And to come out, walk your hands back under your shoulders, lift up your chest, sit down onto your right hip, slide your legs out in front of you, and lay all the way down on your back. Now from here, we'll come into bridge pose. So set up with your feet hip-width distance apart and your knees right over your ankles. For some of us, if you reach down and you can touch your heels or just barely touch them, that is usually knees right over ankles. Relax your arms by your sides with your palms facing up and soften your shoulders into the mat. Then press your low back down, feel your tailbone lift up, lead with your tailbone, lift your hips up into bridge. Squeeze your glutes a little to lift your hips higher, and keep sending the tailbone forward so you're creating space through your lower back. Notice if you're falling out to the edges of your feet or if your knees are splayed out to the sides, and if so, squeeze everything in, doing your best to press equally through all of the corners of your feet, so through both heels and through the big toe mound and pinky toe mound on both feet. One more breath here. And slowly roll your hips back down. And once your hips land, squeeze your right knee into your chest for wind removing pose. Option to straighten your left leg out in front of you, but if that's too much for your left hip flexor, then no worries, just keep the knee bent. Reach your knee towards your right underarm so your thigh bone is just outside of your rib cage. Deep breath in. And exhale, squeeze. And then straighten your right leg up towards the sky. Grab onto the back of your leg wherever you can reach, or if you can't quite reach, grab onto pieces of your clothing. Now from here, start to use your hands to pull your leg closer to you, but at the same time, kick your leg forward so you're working with some resistance. Deep breath in. Exhale, push and pull. Kick your leg forward as you pull your leg towards your chest. We'll do this for one more breath. Deep inhale. Exhale, kick, kick, kick. Now relax the kick and use your hands to pull your leg closer to your face. You might have gotten a little bit more space there. And release. Lower your right leg down and squeeze your left knee into your chest into wind removing pose. Again, knee is just outside of the rib cage. Aim it towards your underarm and grab onto whatever you can reach. Pieces of clothing, shin, thigh, whatever works. Inhale into your belly. Exhale, squeeze your knee in close. Then extend your leg up towards the sky and grab on again to whatever you can take a hold of. Use your hands to pull your leg towards your chest and then kick your leg forward. Deep breaths as you do this. Pull your leg towards you at the same time. Kick forward, find that resistance, maybe find some little shakes. Now one more deep breath here. And then stop the resistance. Use your hands to pull, getting your leg a little bit closer. And release. Extend both legs straight out in front of you, and we'll make our way into Shavasana. So allow your feet to widen to the edges of the mat or even wider. Feet fall open. Open your arms out by your sides and then tuck your shoulder blades under so that your chest can open. Close your eyes. And make any final adjustments you need to become more comfortable. So if there's crunchiness in the lower back, maybe you tuck your tailbone down so you have more space for your low back. Or any other little adjustments you might need. Focus on slow, deep breaths. And start to scan your body for tension. Scan from the soles of your feet, through your ankles, knees, hips, softening muscles as you scan. Soften your core, low back, mid back, upper back, and chest. Relax your shoulders, your upper arms, your forearms, and your hands. Relax your neck, your skull, your jaw, your eyes, and the space between your eyebrows. Give yourself permission to let go and just be here. Now, if you're able to stay here for longer, I highly recommend you stay for as long as you can, allowing your body to continue relaxing. And if you're not able to stay, then start to deepen your breath. And then wake your body up by wiggling your fingers and toes. Take a huge breath in. Stretch your arms over your head like you just woke up from a nap and point your toes. Big, good morning stretch. And then exhale, roll over onto your side into fetal position, using your arm as a pillow. And gently press yourself all the way back up to a comfortable seat. Bring your hands to heart center once you arrive, sealing in your practice. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. I hope that you feel good. And if you continue this practice, I hope that you gain even more mobility so that you can have even better athletic performance. Thank you again for being here. My name again is Adriana Lee with NeoraFit, and I hope to see you on the mat again soon. Namaste.